Mm-hmm. 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 Perfect. Now, carefully, carefully. Locked into place. Just as I designed. Perfect. Yeah. Oh, hey guys, what's up? Don't mind it. Just a little side project I've been working on for a little while. But I figured since I need a break from that and it's almost done, I might as well do a review. Now, we're almost out of Iron Man 3 toys, thank God. But I decided to review a good toy, one I actually like. So, what should I review? Man, I miss doing that. I miss my beard. But let's see. What are our options? I should probably review something that's current, very popular, something that always brings me joy after playing with an Iron Man 3 toy. Oh, I know. Marvel Universe. Fantastic toys. But which figure? It would definitely have to be something that recently came out to appeal and attract more views. Let's see. I only have a couple of them. Oh, I know. The classic Spidey villain, the Rhino. Perfect. So, while I review that and finish my project, play the awesome theme song. What up YouTube, Battleball here with a brand new video review. This time the Marvel Universe Rhino, and this figure is phenomenal. Just right off the back of this review, this is probably my favorite, well, not my favorite, but definitely my top 10 favorite Marvel Universe figures. I mean, this is phenomenal. Very awesome, very well made, very, very impressive figure. I was blown away with this sculpt in this figure. But let's put it aside to talk about the packaging as we always do. The packaging is standard Marvel Universe with a very nice picture of the figure right here. Looks very nice. On the back we have the Rhino. Very nice. I like how the actual figure is a duller gray, while this is a more shiny and light gray. So I'm actually really happy that changed. Picture of the bio. There you go. Very short bio in multiple languages for some reason. And there you go. I've actually misplaced the smaller art card he comes with, so I apologize for that. I'll see if I can find it and put a picture of it right now. There you go. So, this figure is phenomenal. It's just a phenomenal figure. But, we're going to start with the detailing on this figure, then articulation, and then I'll do what you guys probably have been waiting for me to do, and that's compare it to the other figures and its predecessor, the Hasbro Rhino figure. So, detailing on the figure. Well, the head looks phenomenal. Very nicely, very well sculpted. I like it. On the side, you can see the two horns. It is a soft, rubbery plastic, so you don't actually have to worry about it landing on the horn and breaking it. The back is sculpted phenomenal. I love the little bumps, cuts, and bruises and scrapes that are all over this sculpt. It's phenomenal. Definitely reminds me of the Hulk. The arms are really well done. Very like it. I very much like it. He does have two fists, which is really good because he's the Rhino. He has to punch something. The thighs are sculpted really well. The shins are sculpted very well. So are the back. And the feet look phenomenal, especially with the toes. I mean, they did a phenomenal job with the paint and the look of this. It's also worth mentioning that the bottoms aren't detailed, but they do have peg holes, which I'm not going to harp in that too much because, and a quick comparison with the Hulk had the bottom of the feet detailed really well because it's the Hulk. It's a very popular character. They're going to make tons of versions of this mold, so they wanted to make it as best as they could with as much detail as they could so they could keep releasing it and not have to change or add too many parts. But with this guy, it's the Rhino. They're probably going to release 3 at the most of this guy, so they could cut corners with the feet and some of the articulation on the figure, but still on par with Marvel Universe standards. Speaking of which, it's articulation time. So, the head can look up and down a little bit, not that much. The head can also move left and right, which is good. The arms can move up and down, and they kind of lock in position. Like you hear a little ratchet in it almost. So let's see if I can get that. Okay. What impressed me, what really impressed me was the way the elbows are handled, because it's the way I like elbow joints to be done. Not only can you bend it, which has really nice bend to it, but you can rotate it. And I actually prefer this a lot more than I do with the articulation when it's right here at the bicep. You also have a wrist rotation, which is really good, so he can curl his fist or just do that. The torso joint in here is done really well. Very impressed with it. I really do like it, because it looks very natural with the sculpt. So when you're compressing it or stretching it out, it looks phenomenal, especially when you turn the figure. It really does work really well and flushed with the figure. Unlike other toys I've messed with, that this joint messes with the figure sculpt and the way it looks. The legs are not ball joints, which I'm glad, because I'm not a fan of ball joints, but they are a cut and swivel type system, which is okay. I can deal with that. The knees bend. They're not double jointed, but they do rotate, which is interesting. And then the feet impress me because they have a slight rock to them, and by slight I mean a lot. So you can see that. But it also has a tilt, which is phenomenal. I really like that. So you get some really wide-legged poses with this guy, which he's the Rhino. You have to get wide-legged poses. And speaking of which, a lot of people were actually shocked that they were going to make this figure. It's definitely because, well, the new Spider-Man movie, the Rhino is the main villain. Well, at least a villain in the movie. So, yeah. That's why they made the figure. So, if you're wondering why they wanted to make an Oz figure and the Rhino's popularity was built up. So, now that we got that out of the way, and I've just bumped the camera with my chair, let's compare this to other figures we've got that I've reviewed and that we've gotten either in Marvel Universe or other Spider-Man related lines. Because let's face it, you're buying this because you're a Spidey fan. I want to first compare this to the Hulk, because a lot of people, including me, thought that it would either be a redesign of the Hulk or a remold of the Hasbro Spider-Man Rhino. And I can, without a shadow of doubt, say that this is a 100% new sculpt except for the fists. The fists, I believe, are exactly the same as this figure. And even then I might be wrong, because there's a little bit difference in the shape of the knuckles. But that's, like, incredible. Like, this thing is almost 100% completely new. And again, I might be wrong with the fists, because they are slightly different than this guy's fists. But I mean, like, slightly. So, yeah, the chest is completely different, the stomach is completely different, the forearms are completely different, the biceps are completely different, the shins are completely different, the thighs are completely different, the hips are completely different, the fists are very similar, maybe a different sculpt, but it's really kind of hard for me to tell. But the feet are totally different sculpts, I mean, and of course the heads. I mean, this is a completely 100% new figure. And this is phenomenal. It really is impressive. And next to the Hulk, which they're about the same size, give or take the Rhino's horn, it ends up looking phenomenal and really well made, really well put together. And I'm just really impressed with the figure. Putting that aside, let's talk about the one comparison I'm pretty sure a lot of people want me to do, and that's with my first ever Rhino action figure. That is one of my first reviews I've done, at least one of my first 20 or so reviews, or 20, 30. Anyway, a really old review of this guy. This was the Power Charge Rhino from the Spider-Man Hasbro line, which, a shame that line got canceled. It really was good. But let's see. Completely different. I mean, I thought this would be a modified version of, like, this would be a modified version of this, but no, it's completely redesigned. And thank God, because this was a good figure, and I still stand by it that it's a good figure. It just has its problems, but this is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Incredibly impressed with this figure over this figure. But a quick little rundown of this figure that this figure doesn't do. This figure actually has a lot better articulation in terms of its head. It looks up and down a lot more, and that's it. It can't really look left or right, it can just nod its head. This guy can, but he can't really look up and down that much. The biceps, this figure had rotating biceps and then a rotating joint at where the elbow was, which something not that sad about, because again I prefer this type of joint. And then the legs are completely static on this figure where these are articulated, so welcome change. Also, something that I kind of wish they did was, I love the way the horn looks on this guy. It looks really cool. But I wish they actually went with this horn instead of this drippy little horn. Just a little preference. Also, the body armor on this guy is cool and has a very awesome design to it. Well, this one's very traditional and classic, and I actually like the design of this one more. So, there's your comparison. This is the phenomenal figure. If you want a really awesome looking, like wildly designed, almost Ultimate Universe Rhino, definitely go with this one. It is very lacking on the articulation, but it looks really cool. But if you want a really good classic figure, this is definitely the Rhino to go with. But hey, you're a Spider-Man fan that's looking for a 3 3/4-inch Rhino. You're going to get both. Because, let's face it, this one was only $6 when it came out, and you probably get it for $10 on eBay. This one is $9, and you could probably get it for $12 on eBay. And now the comparison that is obvious. The Spider-Mans. But before we do, as I promised, there you go. This figure is slightly taller than this figure. Okay, now we got that done with. Let's compare the figures, because when I reviewed this guy, I couldn't compare him to this guy, which is my go-to Spidey figure. So, and again, I bumped the camera. What's wrong with me today? Now, this Spider-Man is slightly smaller than the Marvel Universe figures, so I consider this my teenager Spider-Man. And how does he look next to the Rhino? He looks phenomenal. The scaling is a lot better than it was with this one, which, this guy's pretty big, but this guy's a lot taller than this figure, so he looks very monstrous and very towering and just phenomenal. So there you go. And then let's compare this figure, which is slightly bigger than this one. So straighten him out. You can see that he is obviously a lot bigger, but not as big compared to this figure. I mean, the difference is very slight, but noticeable. So yeah, really well done, really awesome. Very impressed with how this figure turned out. It is phenomenal. And the scaling with either Spider-Man Hasbro figures or Marvel Universe Spider-Man figures are phenomenal. Now I'm going to bring in the other figures just to have as I give my final thoughts on the figure. And my final thoughts should be easy to see, because this is just a phenomenal figure. As I've been saying, this is a phenomenal figure. If you are a fan of Spider-Man, this is one figure you must add to your collection, because let's face it, 3 3/4-inch figures are awesome. And through the Spider-Man Hasbro line and the Marvel Universe line, we've been able to get a lot of his villains, and it really fits with the whole thing, and it's just phenomenal. And I definitely recommend picking up this figure. It's phenomenal. It is a amazing figure. It is incredible. It's awesome. Definitely recommend picking it up for Spider-Man fans. And then here's this one. Again, I recommend picking this one up, but I recommend this one a little more. So yeah, just phenomenal figure. I highly recommend picking this up. There's even a version that is a classic design, which I believe shares parts from this figure with this figure's parts to create a classic style Rhino, which I may pick up eventually. I may pick that up. It just depends, because things have been a little weird around here, and yeah, economy and stuff. So yeah, really does depend, but I may pick up the repaint / redesign of these two figures, because again, phenomenal figure. Big fan of Rhino, so yeah. And yeah, so those are my final thoughts, and I would love your feedback. Tell me what you guys think of the figure. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you own it? What do you think I missed on anything? I would appreciate your feedback. I really do like that. And yeah, stay tuned, because guess what? My 150th review is next. That's right, 150 reviews. Two and a half years of doing reviews, and now I'm reaching 150. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, and stay tuned till then. So yeah, adios.